Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee along with my colleague John North. I'm John Becker and we are talking about the Tennessee Valley Authority this morning with the man at the top, the president and CEO Jeff Lyash joining us this morning. They're almost 5 years in that post. Again, for people who aren't familiar with TVA, serving some 10 million customers across 7 states. You have about 10,000 employees. Been around since 1933, 90 years celebrating that. Always good to see you, Jeff. Thank you for making time with us.
Great to see you, John. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk first. What is priority one for TVA right now?
Yeah, so we know how important energy is to the economy, to people's security, quality of life. So maintaining electricity affordable, reliable, resilient, and making it increasingly clean. That's what we're focused on.
Let's look at your portfolio because it's evolved in the last few years, and certainly we're going to go back to 2007 and take a look at a pie chart that shows the portfolio then and what it looks like now. And you can see on your screen, and I would instruct you to look at the colors because in the dark blue there you see nuclear going from 26% in 07 up to 39% in FY22. If you look at coal, a big drop, 58% of the portfolio in 07, then some 16 years later, it is at 15%. Gas is up 10% to 33%, also up hydro 6% to 9%, and then you see the wind, solar, renewables now at 4%. Give us a sense of how that portfolio will evolve in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, the general trend will continue as you've seen. You know, coal was the workhorse of this system. It helped electrify the South, really helped industrialize the country. But those plants are aging, the technology's old, the environmental impact becomes less acceptable over time. So we're working hard to reduce our reliance on coal. And so you'll see that exit the portfolio over the next 10 to 15 years. What takes its place? Well, we continue to expand renewables, so we're building 10,000 megawatts of solar, and so that renewable slice will continue to expand, but they're intermittent, and so you need dispatchable power behind that so that on those cold winter mornings when the sun isn't shining, you still have reliable power. That's the role that gas plays. It becomes a capacity resource and helps backstand and integrate those renewables. And of course, we now run one of the best nuclear fleets in the country. We're at the top of the industry in terms of performance. The team's done a great job. So that nuclear piece will expand. We finished Watts Bar in 2016. We're upgrading our units. And ultimately, we think new nuclear is going to be a part of the portfolio, but lots of work to do to make sure we're ready and it's the right decision.
Let's talk about those SMRs. John and I want to get to those small modular reactors just for some education for us and our viewers. For people who don't know how small modular nuclear reactors work, SMRs, how do they work and what are their size and cost?
Yeah, well, think about the conventional reactors we've been operating for 50 years. We have 7 of them in the system. They're about 1,000 megawatts. That probably doesn't mean a lot to your viewers. That's maybe 1 million households from that one reactor. They're very safe, very reliable technologies. Small modular reactors tend to be about 1/4 the size. That brings them down to a scale where they can be modularized, built in a factory, done with industrial scale components, transported to the field, the modules, and erected. So once we get through the first of a kind, they should be lower cost, they should be quicker and lower risk to build, and they take a very, very safe design, incorporate 50 years of experience, and make it even safer. Very passive, very safe.
This year feels like, and when we talk about nuclear, a key year for TVA in the sense that you all are really sort of making that part of the discussion in terms of what the future should look like. You all have been here to East Tennessee, Clinch River. There's been discussion about how the state can help TVA out in terms of, you were talking about the modularity of the components and such. Can you talk a little bit more about sort of how many of these kinds of plants are envisioned and sort of the guarantee that that's going to be kind of the solid way to lean? Or do you know for sure? Can you say absolutely this is going to be the best way to go, or we think this is the best way to go?
Yeah, that's a great question. So is this the right technology? Well, We are now developing the technology, doing the design, doing the testing, doing the licensing. So there's a bit of that question yet to be answered. We need to make sure this is the right choice for us and that we can execute these projects on schedule and on budget. And so that will demonstrate that it is an alternative. There are other alternatives here. We're going to maximize the amount of renewables we're going to deploy. We just initiated a $1.5 billion energy efficiency and demand side management program to try to lower the demand, help people save money and costs. So all of these things go into the mix. But if what we're going to do is maintain power affordable, reliable, and resilient, and if we're going to decarbonize it without jeopardizing energy security, you need a big low-carbon resource to dispatch. And right now, nuclear is the only technology that can fill that role.
Is there a cost estimate on SMRs?
None we're ready to come out with yet. We think the nth of a kind, if we begin the first of a kind and we rapidly deploy it and bring the cost down, we think it can be competitive with natural gas-fired power plants somewhere in the middle of the next decade.
Do you feel you need any more political buy-in for this?
Yeah, of course. These investments are 50, 70, 100-year investments. These are high capital assets. So it really takes a commitment to be able to make that large capital investment and then reap the benefit of it for generations. These are not quick build, quick return assets. And so that's a matter of energy policy. So what we're doing right now is developing the alternative, getting to the point where we can put a price and a schedule on it, and then we'll test the commitment to zero carbon and energy security, maintaining that balance. And if the appetite's there, we'll be ready to build.
To critics who might say it sounds like too big a gamble to put a lot of resources into SMR when we have this stable, proven technology in solar that's out there, why not put more eggs in that basket? What say you?
Yeah, solar is a great resource. So frankly, we're going to build as much solar as we can place on the system. But you always have to be realistic about this. Solar does not have reliable capacity. So we're a winter peaking utility. There's much less sun in the winter. It's not dispatchable. It's a great energy resource, and we're going to maximize it to benefit our customers. But you can't have a portfolio with just one asset in it. You need a mix of technologies. Some of them have to be dispatchable, and so we not only need solar, we need energy storage. But we also need natural gas, and we also need nuclear, and we need to maximize the hydro and drive energy efficiency. No one solution gets you there.
We've got to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. John North will lead us off with Jeff Lyash right after this.